Okay, so are you thinking about maybe reinventing yourself a little this year?
Hmm.
It is a pretty popular time to sort of, hit that reset button. But
Yeah.
as I'm sure you probably already know, change can be kind of tough.
For sure.
Yeah. So that's why we are going to be diving deep into this outline for a podcast
Okay.
all about personal reinvention.
Oh.
It really gets into, why it's so hard to like break out of old routines,
Hmm.
and it offers a really interesting like step-by-step approach.
Yeah. Okay.
I was especially intrigued by the idea of like letting go rituals
Oh,
to
interesting.
like clear out the mental clutter,
Yeah.
sort of like a symbolic fresh start.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. What I find really interesting is that this source emphasizes
Okay.
the psychological side of reinvention.
Okay.
Like you need to understand your own mental blocks before you can even really start to set goals that are actually going to stick.
Okay. So it's not just about willpower then. No, not really.
I mean, we've all made those New Year's resolutions that
Yeah.
sort of,
Yeah, totally.
fizzle out by February.
Exactly.
So what's going on in our heads then that makes change so hard?
Well, the source kind of dives into like some of those really common fears,
Okay.
like the fear of failure, for example.
Okay.
Putting yourself out there can be kind of scary,
Right.
especially if you're not sure if you're going to succeed.
Yeah, that makes total sense.
Yeah,
It's way easier to just stay in your comfort zone,
absolutely.
even if it's not really where you want to be.
Yeah, it's like wearing shoes that don't fit, as the source puts it.
Okay.
Like they might be uncomfortable, but at least they're familiar.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Familiar. Yeah.
And then there's also like the fear of judgment.
Oh, yeah.
Like you might worry about what other people are going to think
Cool.
if you try like something new, especially if it's a big change.
Oh, tell me about it.
Yeah. That fear can be totally paralyzing.
Right.
It's like you're just constantly second guessing yourself,
Yeah.
wondering what people are going to say.
Exactly. And then on top of those fears,
Right.
you've got the sheer power of habit working against you.
Yes.
Even if you know something isn't serving you anymore,
Yeah.
those routines can be really hard to break.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's like you're on autopilot.
Right. Autopilot. Yeah. So how do we overcome all of that then and actually make those changes?
Right.
The source mentions a 5-step process, right?
Yes, it's like a pretty comprehensive framework.
Okay.
It starts with self-awareness.
Okay.
And this isn't just a quick glance in the mirror.
Right.
This is about taking a deep dive into your values, your motivations,
Yeah.
and what you truly want to change.
Okay.
The source even suggests some journal prompts
Oh, cool.
to kind of help guide you through this process.
Okay.
One that really stood out to me was, what are you most proud of from the past year?
Okay.
And what do you wish had gone differently?
That's a really good one.
Yeah.
I can see how reflecting on those experiences
Yeah,
could really help you clarify your priorities.
absolutely.
What you want to focus on.
Exactly. And once you've gained that self-awareness,
Okay.
the next step is setting intentions.
Okay.
Now, this is where I think a lot of people go wrong.
Okay.
They set vague goals or resolutions
Yeah.
that aren't really connected to their deeper values.
So it's not enough to just say I want to lose weight
Right.
or I want to get a promotion.
Exactly. It's about understanding the why behind those goals.
Okay. The why.
Yeah, the source suggests reframing them in a way that really resonates with your values.
Okay.
So instead of, I want to lose weight, maybe it's, I want to have more energy to play with my kids.
Right.
Or I want to feel confident in my clothes.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I can see how connecting your goals to your values would make them more meaningful.
Totally.
More motivating. It's not just about checking something off a list.
Right.
It's about becoming the person you want to be.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to what I think is the most powerful step
Okay.
in this whole process.
Yeah.
Letting go.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
What exactly do we need to let go of when it comes to reinvention?
It can be anything, honestly, that's holding you back.
Okay.
It could be negative thoughts and beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
unhealthy habits,
Yeah.
toxic relationships,
Right.
or even just physical clutter in your environment.
So it's clearing out the mental and emotional baggage.
Precisely. And the source offers some interesting techniques for
That's
actually
right.
doing this.
Yeah.
One idea is to write a letting go letter
Okay.
where you just kind of pour out all the things that you want to release.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's giving yourself permission to finally say goodbye
Totally.
to the things that are no longer serving you.
Exactly. And to make it even more powerful, the source suggests creating a ritual around it.
Okay.
Like maybe you burn the letter,
Right.
or you tear it up and toss it in a river.
Okay.
It's about making it like a tangible, symbolic act.
Wow, that sounds incredibly cathartic.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling lighter just thinking about it.
Right.
But I have to ask, what about when things get tough? Because let's be real, setbacks are going to happen.
Yeah.
How do we deal with those moments when we just feel like
Right.
throwing in the towel?
Well, that's where the next step comes in. And it might seem counterintuitive, embracing setbacks.
Okay, how do we embrace something that feels so negative?
Yeah,
It's not exactly easy to stay positive
I know.
when you hit a roadblock.
It's all about reframing your perspective.
Okay.
Instead of seeing a setback as a defeat,
Okay.
try to view it as a valuable lesson.
Okay.
What can you learn from this experience?
Right.
How can you adjust your approach?
Right.
The source really emphasizes that resilience is a key ingredient
Okay.
in any successful reinvention journey.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
It's not about like avoiding setbacks altogether.
right.
It's about developing the mental toughness to like bounce back from them.
Exactly. And to illustrate this point, the source suggests including
Uh-huh.
real-life stories
Okay.
about people who, like, faced setbacks,
Yeah.
but ultimately achieved their goals.
Hmm.
It's about showing that setbacks are a normal part of the process.
Right.
And that they don't have to derail you.
It's like those stories of entrepreneurs who failed multiple times
Totally.
before they finally like hit it big.
Exactly.
Their setbacks became stepping stones.
Right. And hearing those stories can be incredibly inspiring
So-
because they remind you that you're not alone in your struggles.
Right. Right.
Everyone faces setbacks,
Mhm.
but it's how you handle them
Yeah.
that determines your success.
So we've got self-awareness, setting intentions,
Yeah, yeah.
letting go.
Embracing setbacks.
Yes.
What's the final step in this whole reinvention process?
The final step is where the rubber meets the road, taking action.
Okay.
But there's a twist.
Okay.
The source emphasizes that big changes don't happen overnight.
Right.
It's all about taking small, consistent steps in the right direction.
So it's not about like making drastic changes all at once,
Right.
but rather about building momentum through small wins.
Exactly. Let's say you want to write a book.
Okay.
Instead of trying to churn out like 50 pages a day,
Right.
maybe you commit to writing for just 15 minutes each morning.
I like that.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off.
Totally.
Makes
Yeah.
the whole process feel less overwhelming.
Exactly. It's about building a sustainable routine,
Right.
one small step at a time.
One step at a time.
And the source highlights the importance of celebrating those small victories
Yes.
along the way.
That's such a good point.
Yeah.
It's easy to get caught up in the big picture.
And forget to appreciate those small wins
Yeah.
that ultimately lead to big transformation.
Exactly. And that's what this whole 5-step process is all
Yeah,
about.
Okay.
It's about creating a roadmap for sustainable change,
Mm-hmm.
a roadmap that
Mhm.
recognizes both the internal and external factors
Yeah.
that influence our ability to reinvent ourselves.
This is so helpful.
Yeah.
It's like you've given us a toolkit for navigating the often messy process of personal growth.
That's the goal.
But I have to ask, how do we make sure this isn't just another temporary burst of inspiration?
Right.
How do we stay committed to this journey,
Yeah.
even when things get tough?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And it's one that the source addresses head on.
Okay.
It emphasizes that reinvention isn't a destination.
Okay.
It's a journey.
Okay. I'm really interested to hear more about that journey concept.
Yeah.
Can you like elaborate on what that means in practical terms?
Sure. It means shifting your focus from achieving a specific outcome to embracing the process of becoming the best version of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
It's about recognizing that there's no finish line
Okay.
when it comes to personal growth.
So it's not about reaching some point where you're suddenly reinvented
Right.
and everything is perfect.
Exactly. It's about constantly evolving,
Yeah.
learning,
Mm-hmm.
and adapting.
Right.
And it's about accepting that there will be ups and downs along the way.
That's a really empowering perspective.
Yeah.
It takes the pressure off having to get it right all the time
Yeah.
and allows you to simply like enjoy the ride.
Exactly. And one of the key ingredients in staying committed to that journey is finding support.
Okay.
The source emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself
Yeah.
with people who believe in you
Right.
and encourage your growth.
So it's like having a cheerleading squad for your reinvention journey.
Exactly. But it's not just about finding cheerleaders.
Okay.
It's also about recognizing the people and situations that might be holding you back.
So it's about being mindful of your environment. and
Yes.
making sure that it's like conducive to the changes that you're trying to make.
Precisely. It might mean decluttering your social media feed,
Okay.
reevaluating certain relationships,
Yeah.
or seeking out new communities that align with your values and aspirations.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
It's easy to underestimate the impact our environment can have
for sure.
on our mindset and behaviors.
Well, absolutely.
So it sounds like creating a supportive environment is crucial
Yes,
for successful reinvention.
absolutely. And speaking of support,
Yeah.
I think it's time we talk about another important element of reinvention,
Okay.
finding inspiration from others who have successfully navigated this process.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
It's one thing to hear about like the steps involved,
Yeah,
but it's another thing entirely to like see those steps in action,
exactly.
to hear from real people who have walked the walk.
Exactly. And the source highlights the importance of showcasing a diverse range of reinvention stories.
Oh, okay.
It's not just about those like dramatic career changes or overnight successes.
Yeah.
It's also about celebrating the smaller,
Okay.
everyday reinventions that make a big difference in people's lives.
So it's about showing that reinvention can take many forms
Yes,
and that it's accessible to everyone,
exactly.
regardless of their circumstances.
Precisely. And that brings us to like a crucial question.
Okay.
What does reinvention mean for you?
Oh, wow.
What are those small steps that you can take today
Yeah.
to move closer to the person you want to be?
That's such a powerful question.
Yeah.
It really encourages us to think about how to apply these ideas to our own lives
Exactly.
and to start taking action,
Yeah.
no matter how small the step might seem.
It's about empowering you to take ownership of your reinvention journey
Okay.
and start writing your own unique story.
Right.
And that's where those inspiring stories come in.
Mm-hmm.
They show you that it's possible to overcome challenges,
Right.
embrace change,
Yeah.
and create a life that aligns with your values and aspirations.
This is all so inspiring.
Yeah.
I'm already feeling like a surge of motivation
Oh,
to
wow.
like tackle some changes myself.
Right.
But before we get too carried away,
Yeah.
let's take a step back
Okay.
and recap what we've learned so far.
You're right. It's important to distill these insights
Yeah.
into some key takeaways.
Yeah.
So let's recap those 5 steps of reinvention
Okay.
and why they're so important.
Sounds like a plan.
All right. All right. So let's refresh those 5 steps.
Okay.
Remember that first one?
Yeah.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness, yeah.
It's not about like, beating yourself up over past mistakes.
Right.
It's about like honestly assessing
Mm-hmm.
what's working and what's not
Okay.
in your life right now.
Right now. Yeah.
You have to like really get clear on your values and motivations
Yeah.
before you can set goals
Okay.
that like truly resonate with you.
Okay, so that leads perfectly into the next step,
Yes.
setting intentions.
Setting intentions, exactly.
You mentioned this is where a lot of people kind of get tripped up.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's easy to fall into the trap of setting those generic goals.
Okay.
Like, I want to be more successful
Right.
or I want to be happier.
Right.
But those goals are so broad,
Yeah.
they don't give you like a clear direction to move in.
Okay, yeah.
Setting intentions is about digging deeper and asking yourself like, why
Okay.
you want those things?
All right.
What does success look like to you?
Right.
What brings you joy?
So it's about connecting your goals to something deeper,
Yeah.
something that like truly matters to you.
Exactly. And when you set intentions that are aligned with your values,
Okay.
you're so much more likely to stay motivated
Right.
and stick with them,
Mhm.
even when things get tough.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's like you're tapping into an inner source of motivation. That's much stronger than just willpower.
Right. And once you've set those intentions,
Okay.
it's time to tackle step 3,
Right.
letting go.
Letting go.
This step can be a bit emotional,
Yeah.
but it's incredibly powerful.
You mentioned some techniques for letting go.
Yes.
Like writing a letting go letter
Yeah.
and creating a ritual around it.
Mhm.
Can you give us some examples of what that might look like
Sure.
in practice?
Imagine you're holding on to resentment from a past relationship.
Okay.
Writing a letter to that person,
Okay.
expressing your feelings
Yeah.
without holding back
Mm-hmm.
can be a really powerful way to release that negativity.
Okay.
And then you might choose to burn the letter,
Right.
symbolizing like a complete break from the past.
Wow, that imagery is so strong.
Yeah.
I can see how that would be like a really cathartic experience.
Yeah.
But what if you're not dealing with something as specific as like a past relationship? What if it's more about letting go of like negative self-talk or limiting belief?
Those are great examples.
Okay.
And like the same principle applies.
Okay.
You can write a letter to yourself,
Okay.
acknowledging those negative thoughts,
Right.
and then like making a conscious choice to release them.
So it's about recognizing those thought patterns and
Yes.
then like actively choosing to shift your mindset.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And the ritual aspect is still important.
Okay.
You might like rip up the letter,
Mm-hmm.
throw it in the trash,
Okay.
or even just like visualize those negative thoughts dissolving into thin air.
Right.
The important thing is to find a way to make it feel real,
Okay.
to give yourself a sense of closure.
That's such a helpful tip.
Yeah,
It's like you're giving your brain a clear signal that it's time to move on.
exactly. And once you've cleared out that mental and emotional clutter,
Okay.
you're ready to move on to step 4,
All right.
taking action.
Taking action.
But as we discussed earlier,
Yeah.
it's not about making drastic changes all at once. The key is to break down your goals
Okay.
into smaller, more manageable steps.
You mentioned the example of writing a book
Yes.
and starting with just 15 minutes a day.
Mm-hmm.
What are some other examples of how we can apply this small steps approach?
Sure. Let's say you want to start eating healthier.
Okay.
Instead of overhauling your entire diet overnight,
Right.
maybe you focus on adding one more serving of vegetables
Okay.
to your meals each day.
Right.
Or if you want to be more physically active,
Okay.
you might start with a 10-minute walk
Right.
a few times a week.
I love that.
Yeah.
It makes those goals seem so much more attainable.
Totally.
It takes the pressure off having to make big changes
Right.
all at once.
Exactly.
It's like you're building a new habit brick by brick.
Exactly. And as you start to experience those small wins,
Yeah.
you'll build momentum and confidence,
Mm-hmm.
which will make it easier to stick with those new habits over time.
That's such a key point.
Yeah.
It's about celebrating those small victories. Absolutely.
Recognizing that they're just as important as the big ones.
And speaking of celebrating wins,
Yes.
it's important to remember that setbacks are a part of the journey.
Oh, right.
No matter how motivated you are,
Yeah,
you're going to hit roadblocks along the way.
for sure.
That's where step 5 comes in.
Okay.
Embracing setbacks.
Embracing setbacks.
You talked about reframing setbacks
Yeah.
as opportunities to learn and grow,
Mm-hmm.
but how do you actually put that into practice
Right.
when you're feeling discouraged or frustrated?
Yeah, that's the hard part.
Do you have any tips for like shifting that mindset?
Yeah.
One helpful strategy is to view setbacks
Okay.
as valuable like data points.
Okay. Data points.
Instead of beating yourself up,
Yeah.
ask yourself,
Right.
what can I learn from this experience?
Right.
What adjustments can I make to my approach?
Yeah.
It's about turning those setbacks
Okay.
into learning opportunities.
That's a really great way to look at it.
Yeah. It's about taking a step back and like analyzing the situation
Mhm.
instead of just reacting emotionally.
Right. And another helpful tip is to keep a journal
Okay.
where you track your progress
Yeah.
and reflect on your experiences.
Okay.
This can help you like identify patterns in your behavior
Mm-hmm.
and see how far you've come,
Yeah.
even if you've experienced some setbacks along the way.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's like having a tangible record of your journey,
Exactly.
which can be really motivating
Yeah,
when you're feeling doubtful.
sure. And speaking of motivation,
Yeah.
one of the things that really struck me about this source material
Yeah.
is the emphasis on finding inspiration from others
Okay.
who've successfully reinvented themselves.
Okay.
Why is that so important?
Yeah. Why is that?
Well, hearing stories of people who've overcome challenges
Mm-hmm.
and achieved their goals
Yeah.
can be incredibly motivating.
Right.
It shows you that change is possible,
Yeah.
even if your starting point feels far
Right.
from where you want to be.
It's like you're tapping into a collective pool of
Yes.
like resilience and determination.
Exactly. And those stories can also provide you with
Okay.
practical tips and strategies
Okay.
that you can apply to your own life.
So it's not just about like feeling inspired.
Right.
It's about gaining actionable insights
Exactly.
that can help you on your journey.
Right. And the source material emphasizes the importance of showcasing
Okay.
a diverse range of reinvention stories.
Okay.
It's not just about those dramatic career changes or overnight successes.
Right.
It's also about celebrating the smaller,
Yeah.
everyday reinventions
Yeah.
that make a big difference in people's lives.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
Reinvention doesn't have to be
Right.
this huge life-altering event.
Exactly.
It can be about making small but meaningful changes
Mm-hmm.
that bring you closer to the person you want to be.
Exactly. And that brings us to another important element of reinvention,
Okay.
the role of community.
Community.
Okay. The source material highlights how crucial it is
Yeah.
to have a support system in place
Yeah.
as you navigate this process.
So it's not just about setting goals and taking action.
Right.
It's also about finding people who will encourage you
Yes.
and hold you accountable along the way.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just about finding cheerleaders.
Okay.
It's also about surrounding yourself with people who challenge you to grow
Right.
and who support your vision for the future.
That's a great point.
Yeah,
It's about finding a tribe of people
exactly.
who understand your aspirations and who are willing to help you achieve them.
Right. And the source material even suggests some specific ways
Right?
to build that support system.
Okay.
For example, you might join a group
Okay.
or an online community
Yeah.
that aligns with your interests or goals.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's about creating a space where you can connect with like-minded people who are also on a journey of personal growth.
And speaking of community,
Yeah.
I think it's important to acknowledge
Okay.
that not all environments are created equal.
Right.
Sometimes you need to be mindful of
Yeah.
the people and situations
Yeah.
that might be holding you back.
That's such an important point.
Yeah.
If you're surrounded by negativity or
Right.
people who don't believe in your vision,
Yeah.
it can be incredibly difficult
It can.
to make progress on your reinvention journey.
So it's not just about seeking out support.
Yeah.
It's also about being aware of the influences
Right.
that might be draining your energy
Yeah.
or holding you back.
Exactly. It might mean like distancing yourself from certain people or situations. Or it might mean setting boundaries to protect your time and energy.
That's a great reminder.
Yeah.
It's about creating an environment that nurtures your growth
Right.
and supports your aspirations.
And speaking of aspirations.
Yes. One of the most powerful concepts that we've touched on today is this idea of reinvention as a journey,
Yeah.
not a destination.
That's right. The source material really emphasizes that point.
Right.
It's not about reaching some point where you're suddenly reinvented
Right.
and everything is perfect.
Yeah.
It's about embracing the process
Okay.
of continuous growth and development.
So it's about shifting your mindset
Mhm.
from achieving a specific outcome
Yeah,
to enjoying the ride.
exactly. It's about recognizing that there will be ups and downs along the way
Right.
and that the journey itself is where the real magic happens.
That's such a liberating perspective. It
Yeah.
takes the pressure off having to get it right all the time
Totally.
and allows you to simply focus on becoming the best version of yourself.
Right. And one of the keys to enjoying that journey
Yeah.
is to celebrate your wins,
Okay.
no matter how small they might seem.
So if I manage to meditate for like 5 minutes.
Instead of hitting the snooze button,
Yes.
that's a victory worth celebrating.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every step forward, every positive choice deserves recognition.
Okay.
It's about building that positive reinforcement loop that
Right.
keeps you motivated.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about finding joy in the process,
Exactly.
not just focusing on the destination.
And speaking of finding joy,
Yeah.
I think it's time we wrap up this discussion
Okay.
with a final thought
Right.
that will hopefully inspire our listeners
Yeah.
to embrace their own reinvention journeys.
That sounds like a great idea. It's like we've been talking about all these like different aspects of reinvention.
Yeah.
And it's really striking me that
Huh.
it's not just about changing your habits or your circumstances. It's
Right.
about changing your mindset.
That's such a crucial point.
Yeah.
Reinvention starts from within.
Okay.
It's about like shifting your perspective,
Mm-hmm.
embracing new possibilities,
Yeah.
and believing in your ability to create the life you want.
Exactly. And it's not about becoming like
Yeah.
someone completely different.
Yeah.
It's about uncovering your true potential.
Yeah.
The person you were always meant to be.
It's like peeling back layers of conditioning and
Right.
societal expectations
Yeah.
to reveal the authentic,
Right.
vibrant self
Yeah.
that's been there all along.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It's like you're shedding a skin that no longer fits
Yeah.
to make room
This
for
is-
something new to emerge.
And the beautiful thing is
Yeah.
that this process of reinvention can happen
Right.
at any age, at any stage of life.
Yeah, that's so encouraging.
It is.
It's a reminder that we're always evolving,
Yeah,
always growing. We have the power to shape our own destinies.
absolutely.
But I think one of the biggest challenges people face
Yeah.
is simply taking that first step.
Oh, yeah.
It can feel overwhelming.
Right.
Especially if you're not sure where to start.
Well, absolutely. And that's why we've been talking about these small steps, these manageable actions that can gradually move you in the right direction.
Right.
Remember, you don't have to have all the answers before you begin.
Okay. Yeah.
It's about taking that leap of faith, even if it feels messy or uncertain.
So it's about trusting the process?
Yes.
Being willing to experiment, to learn as you go.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do it alone.
Right.
We talked about the importance of building a support system, finding people who will cheer you on, offer guidance, and hold you accountable.
It's like having a team of navigators to help you chart your course and stay on track, even when the waters get rough.
That's a great way to put it. And as you embark on this journey, remember to celebrate those small victories along the way.
Right.
Each step forward, no matter how small, is a testament to your commitment to growth and change.
Those small wins are like fuel for the journey.
They are.
They keep you motivated.
Yeah.
Remind you that you're capable of creating lasting change.
Exactly. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought.
Okay.
That has really resonated with me throughout this conversation.
Okay. I'm all ears.
Imagine yourself a year from now.
Okay.
Close your eyes and really visualize it. What does your ideal self look like?
Okay.
What have you accomplished?
Okay.
How do you feel?
Wow. That's a powerful exercise.
Yeah?
It's like you're inviting us to step into the future we want to create.
And now, think about the steps you can take today to move closer to that vision.
Right.
What small actions, what mindset shifts, what habits can you cultivate to bridge the gap between where you are now and where you want to be?
It's about taking that big dream and breaking it down into smaller, actionable steps that you can start taking right now.
Exactly. And remember, reinvention is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process of growth and evolution.
Right.
So embrace the journey.
Yeah.
Embrace the messiness. And embrace the incredible person you are becoming.
This has been such an insightful and inspiring conversation.
Yes.
I feel like we've not only explored the concepts of reinvention, but we've also created a roadmap for our listeners to start crafting their own journeys.
And who knows, maybe a year from now, we'll be hearing all about their amazing reinvention stories.
That's a thought that fills me with so much hope and excitement.
Me too.
To all of you out there ready to embark on your own adventures in self-discovery.
Yes.
We're cheering you on every step of the way.
Here's to a year of growth.
Yes.
Transformation, and endless possibilities.